6 months after Dr. Holson's historic report reached the Galactic Council, the planet that once killed everything had become the most important world in known space. Ships from dozens of species arrived daily to study the human settlement that had achieved the impossible. Captain Li Huyon stood on the observation deck of New Harmony City, watching another delegation of alien scientists land on the crystal platform below. The city had grown from their original shelter into a marvel of biotechnological architecture. Buildings pulsed with living light, streets flowed like rivers of crystal, and gardens bloomed with hybrid plants that existed nowhere else in the universe. Captain, the Vorthan Collective representatives have arrived. Communications Officer Choi Mina announced through the crystal network that now connected all parts of the city. Her voice reached him directly through his enhanced neural pathways. Dr. Park Sujin approached. Her appearance subtly changed by months of symbiotic evolution. Her eyes held flecks of crystal blue, and her movements showed the fluid grace that came from being connected to a planetary consciousness. The Vorthans are particularly excited about our healing technologies, she reported.
Hey!
3 of their crystal-form people were damaged in mining accidents. They hope our biointegration methods can repair them. Engineer Kim Tae-ho emerged from the city's growing center, where new structures formed themselves, according to both human engineering principles and the planet's organic design concepts. The living ships are ready for their first test flights, he announced with excitement. Captain Lee looked toward the spaceport, where 5 vessels waited for launch. They were not built in factories, but grown in specialized crystal gardens. These ships could repair themselves, adapt to different environments, and most importantly, communicate with other living worlds across the galaxy. Dr. Lim is all ready. Aboard the lead ship, Kim continued. She wants to be the first to make contact with the sleeping consciousness on Kepler 438b. Dr. Lim So-young had discovered something that changed everything. Using her enhanced connection to plant and crystal networks, she found that many worlds previously thought to be dead or hostile were actually dormant planetary intelligences. They had gone to sleep after millions of years of loneliness, waiting for someone who could understand them. Security Chief An Dong-wook joined them on the observation deck. His role had evolved from protecting the team to serving as the first director of symbiotic defense. He trained volunteers from various species in peaceful contact methods and cooperative defense strategies. The Galactic Council vote is today, he reminded them. They will decide whether to officially recognize our alliance as a new form of civilization or classify us as a biological hazard. Admiral Veltar materialized on their communication screen. The blueskin Zephyrian had become an unexpected ally after spending a month studying the human settlement. His initial fear had transformed into genuine admiration. Captain Lee, I have good news. The Council voted in favor of recognition. Your human planetary alliance is now officially acknowledged as the first symbiotic civilization in galactic history.
Doctor?
Park smiled with relief. What about the territorial rights we requested? Proved Veltar confirmed. Any world that chooses to enter symbiotic partnership with human settlements will be recognized as sovereign territory of the Alliance. You have permission to wake the sleeping worlds. This was the breakthrough they had hoped for. The planet shared its knowledge of an ancient network that connected living worlds across the galaxy. Most of these worlds had fallen into dormant states after failed contacts with other species. But humans, with their gift for cooperation and adaptation, could help them wake up. Engineer Kim activated the launch sequence for their bioships. First destination is the Kepler system. Dr. Lim will attempt contact with 7 potentially living worlds. Dr. Lim's voice came through the crystal network from her ship. I can feel them from here, sleeping minds waiting to dream again. This is going to be beautiful. As the living ships departed, Captain Lee reflected on how much had changed. The death world that had terrified the galaxy was now home to the most advanced medical research in known space. Diseases that had plagued species for centuries were being cured. Through biointegration techniques, Dr. Park had established the Institute for Symbiotic Medicine, where alien patients came to receive treatments that worked by helping their bodies cooperate with beneficial organisms instead of fighting them. The waiting list included representatives from 43 different species. Captain, we have a message from Earth, Communications Officer Choi announced. The Colonial Council wants to send 10,000 volunteers for the second wave of settlements. Captain, Lee was not surprised. Word had spread throughout human space about the miraculous achievements on the living world. Families wanted to experience the enhanced health and expanded consciousness that came from symbiotic partnership. Scientists hoped to study the biotechnological innovations. Engineers dreamed of learning to grow cities instead of building them. Security Chief On pointed to his tactical displays. We also have requests from the Nexus Union and the Crystalline Confederacy. They want to establish research bases here to study our defensive methods. The planet had revealed defensive capabilities that amazed military strategists across the galaxy. It could generate electromagnetic shields that protected entire star systems, create adaptive weapons that neutralized any threat without causing permanent harm, and establish communication networks that worked faster than traditional space travel. But the most important development is not military, Dr. Park observed. We have proven that different forms of life can work together as equals. No more conquest, no more exploitation. True partnership. Engineer Kim received a transmission from Dr. Lim's expedition. Captain, she has made contact with the first sleeping world. It is waking up and responding to communication attempts. The planet is asking for human friends to come help it learn about the current galaxy. As the sun set over New Harmony City, the crystal structures glowed with warm light that reflected the contentment of their planetary partner. Children played in gardens where earth flowers grew alongside alien formations that sang in harmonious frequencies. Scientists from a dozen species worked together in laboratories that grew new rooms as needed. Captain Lee felt the vast consciousness of the world around him, no longer alien but truly home. Through the crystal network, he sensed the dreams of awakening worlds across the galaxy. Each one eager to find partners who would treat them as friends rather than resources to exploit. We are not conquerors, he said to his gathered team. Our gardeners. We help things grow instead of tearing them down. The planet pulsed with agreement and affection. In its ancient memory, it had never imagined that loneliness could end so completely. The creatures who had refused to leave or die had given it the greatest gift possible, family, above them. The stars held promise of thousands of other worlds, waiting to join the growing network of symbiotic civilizations. The galaxy was learning a new way to live, and it all started with 5 humans who had decided to make camp on a world that killed. Everything now that world was teaching the universe how. The shadow of the Galactic Council fleet blocked out the orange sun as 12 massive warships entered orbit around the planet. Captain Lee Heen felt the vibrations through the crystal network before his instruments detected the ships. They came. In force, Security Chief On Dong-wook observed as he watched the fleet positioning themselves in attack formation. Admiral Veltar is not taking any chances. Dr. Park Sujin monitored the electromagnetic changes rippling through the planets. Consciousness. The world is frightened. It has never faced this many potential threats at once. The crystal network is shifting into defensive mode. Engineer Kim Tae-ho pointed to his energy readings. Massive power buildups are happening all across the planet. If the Admiral tries to attack, this world can fight back with the force of an entire star system. Dr. Lim So-young felt the planet's emotions through their shared connection. It does not want to hurt anyone, but it will protect us if necessary. We are family now. A communication signal came through on the emergency frequency. Admiral Veltar's stern blue face appeared on their screen. Behind him stood Commander Zelkoth, the military leader known for his aggressive tactics against hostile worlds. Human Settlement Team, this is Admiral Veltar of the Galactic Council. Prepare for immediate evacuation and medical quarantine. Our scans show you have been infected by alien organisms. Captain Lee stepped forward to respond. Admiral, we have not been infected. We have formed a partnership with a planetary intelligence. This is a breakthrough in interspecies cooperation. Captain, you are clearly under alien influence, Commander Zelkoth interrupted. Your brain patterns show massive changes from baseline human readings. You are no longer the same species that left Earth. Dr. Park joined the conversation. Commander, evolution and adaptation are natural processes. We have not lost our humanity. We have expanded it to include symbiotic relationships with other life forms. That is exactly what makes you dangerous, Admiral Valtar declared. Council cannot allow contaminated humans to spread this infection to other worlds or species. Engineer Kim detected the fleet's weapons systems charging up. Admiral, any hostile action against us will be seen as an attack on the planet itself. This world has defensive capabilities you cannot imagine. We are aware of this planet's history, Zelkoth replied coldly. That is why we brought sufficient firepower to sterilize the entire surface if necessary. The crystal formations around the human settlement began growing rapidly, forming protective barriers and energy collectors. The planet was preparing for war. Dr. Lim tried to calm the situation. Admiral, please land a small diplomatic team. Let us show you what we have accomplished. This partnership could benefit the entire galaxy. Absolutely not, Veltar refused. We will not risk additional contamination. You have 24 hours to board evacuation shuttles and submit to full quarantine procedures. The communication ended abruptly. Captain Lee felt the planet's consciousness reaching out to him through the crystal network. Images and emotions flowed through his enhanced neural pathways. The planet is offering to hide us, he told his team. It can create underground shelters that would be undetectable from orbit. That would only prove their point about us being compromised, Security Chief On pointed out. If we hide, they will assume we have become enemies of our own species. Dr. Park was studying the readings from the Galactic Council ships. Look at these bioscans. The Admiral's crew is showing signs of stress and fear, but also curiosity. Some of them want to understand what is happening here. Engineer Kim had an idea. What if we invite them to send down a single observer? Someone who can witness our partnership firsthand without feeling threatened. Dr. Lim nodded enthusiastically. The planet would welcome a peaceful visitor. It wants to share its knowledge, not fight. Captain Lee opened a new communication channel, broadcasting on all frequencies that the Council fleet could monitor. Admiral Veltar, we propose a compromise. Send one representative to observe our settlement for 12 hours. They report that we are still human and acting freely. You agree to listen to our proposal for peaceful contact. There was a long silence from the fleet. Captain Lee could imagine the heated discussions taking place on the command ships. Finally, Admiral Veltar responded. Very well. But the observer will be in full protective gear and maintain constant communication with the fleet. Any sign of contamination or mind control, and we will assume you have become hostile. 2 hours later, a single shuttle descended. From the fleet, Dr. Kira Holtzen, human xenobiologist from the Council's Science Division, stepped out wearing a complete environmental suit. She carried scanners and recording equipment. Dr. Holtz and Captain Lee greeted her warmly. Thank you for coming. Oh, we know this requires courage. The scientists looked around at their settlement with amazement. Crystal structures grew alongside. Metal buildings. Earth plants flourished next to alien formations that pulsed with soft light. Streams of clean water flowed in geometric patterns that seemed to follow mathematical principles. This is impossible, she whispered. How are Earth organisms surviving on an alien world? Dr. Park led her to their research area. The planet's consciousness learned to work with our biological systems instead of fighting them. Watch this. She placed her hand on a crystal formation. Immediately, nearby plants began growing faster, their leaves becoming greener and more vibrant. The crystal structure brightened in response. The planet is sharing energy and nutrients with our Earth plants, Dr. Lim explained. Our plants provide organic compounds and biological diversity that the crystal network had never experienced before. Dr. Holtzen's instruments detected the electromagnetic exchanges happening between the humans and the crystal formations. You are actually communicating with it. This is not mind control. It is genuine cooperation. Engineer Kim showed her their hybrid technologies. The planet teaches us how to grow tools instead of building them. In return, we share human engineering. Concepts that help it solve problems it never encountered before. As the day progressed, Dr. Holtzen documented everything she observed. She saw the humans making independent decisions, expressing individual personalities, and maintaining their Earth cultural practices. But she also witnessed their enhanced abilities in their growing connection to the planetary consciousness.
You
Are still human, she concluded. 8. But you are becoming something more, something better. Security Chief On felt the planet's satisfaction through their shared bond. The world understands now that not all visitors come to conquer or exploit. Some come to learn and grow together. As Dr. Holtzen prepared to return to the fleet, she looked back at the settlement with wonder. Captain Lee, what you have achieved here could change everything. If humans can form partnerships with living worlds, we could explore regions of space that were previously impossible to reach. That is exactly what we hope, Captain Lee replied. But first, we need the galaxy to understand that cooperation is stronger than conquest. The shuttle lifted off, carrying with it the first independent confirmation that humans and alien intelligence could work together as equals. Against Bublum, the Council fleet waited to hear a report that would reshape galactic civilization. Dr. Park Soo-jin stared at her medical scanner in disbelief. The readings showed something that should have been impossible. Her own body was changing at the cellular level. Captain Lee, you need to see this, she called out. Our DNA is being modified by exposure to the planet's crystal network. Captain Lee Hyun hurried over to her workstation inside their expanded shelter. 2 weeks had passed since landing, and their small camp had grown into a complex of crystal and metal structures. Plants from Earth grew in perfect harmony with alien crystal formations. What kind of modifications? Lee asked with concern. Dr. Park pointed to the genetic analysis on her screen. Our immune systems are becoming stronger. Our cells are regenerating faster. And we are developing new neural pathways that seem designed to interface with the crystal network. Engineer Kim Tae-ho looked up from his work on a hybrid power system. I have been feeling different too. Yesterday I could predict when the electromagnetic pulses would occur. Today I can actually sense them before they happen.
Doctor.
Lim So-young nodded in agreement. My connection to the plant life here is growing stronger every day. I can feel when they need water or nutrients. Sometimes I know what they need before they show physical signs. Security Chief On Dong-wook had been monitoring the perimeter when he noticed his enhanced senses. My reaction time has improved. By 30%, can detect movement and energy changes from much farther away than before. Captain Lee realized that all of them were experiencing similar changes. His own thinking felt clearer and faster. Problems that would have taken hours to solve now seemed obvious. The planet is not just helping us survive, it is helping us evolve. Dr. Park made another discovery while studying tissue samples. The crystal network is not invading our bodies. It is integrating with the bacteria and microorganisms that live inside us naturally. Humans carry trillions of tiny life forms in our digestive system, on our skin, and throughout our bodies. She pulled up microscopic images that showed crystal threads connecting with human bacteria. Planet's intelligence could not understand previous alien visitors because they were single-organism life forms. But humans are walking ecosystems. We contain thousands of different species, all working together. Engineer Kim suddenly straightened up with excitement. That is why the planet stopped attacking us. It finally found something it could relate to. We are not just individuals. We are communities of different life forms cooperating for survival. A soft chiming sound came from the crystal walls around them. The planet was trying to communicate directly. Dr. Lim approached one of the larger crystal formations and placed her hand on its surface. Images and emotions flowed through her mind. It is lonely, she whispered.
Hey.
This world has been alone for millions of years. Every time other species arrived, they tried to take things from it or change it. But humans brought gifts. What gifts? Captain Lee asked. Our bacteria, our plants, our way of thinking about cooperation instead of domination, Lim explained. We showed it that different life forms can live together peacefully. The crystal formation began to pulse with warm light. More images flowed through the connection. Dr. Lim saw visions of the planet's past, eons of solitude, failed attempts at communication with other species, and growing fear that led to defensive attacks. It wants to share something with us, she said. Knowledge about other worlds, other networks like itself scattered across the galaxy. Engineer Kim detected massive data transfers happening through the crystal network. The electromagnetic activity is off the charts. The planet is downloading information directly into our neural systems. Suddenly, all 5 team members felt a rush of new knowledge entering their minds. They saw star maps showing dozens of other living worlds. They understood communication methods that worked across vast distances. They learned about technologies that grew instead of being built. We are becoming something new, Dr. Park said with wonder. Not just human, not just alien, but a hybrid of both. Captain Lee felt the changes happening in his own body and mind. He was still himself, still thinking his own thoughts, but he could also sense the vast intelligence of the planet around him. We need to contact the ship and explain what is happening. Activated their communication system, which now worked perfectly thanks to the planet's cooperation. Commander Yoon's worried face appeared on their screen. Captain, we have been monitoring strange energy readings from your location. Are you under attack? Not attacked, Lee replied. We are evolving. The planet is sharing its knowledge and abilities with us in exchange for our friendship and biological diversity. Commander Yoon looked alarmed. Captain, you may be compromised. The medical scanners show your brain activity has changed dramatically. Dr. Park joined the conversation. Commander, we are not being controlled. We are being enhanced. Our intelligence is increasing. Our bodies are becoming stronger. And we are learning to communicate with a planetary consciousness. This is exactly what the Galactic Council feared, Yoon said. They are sending Admiral Veltar with a military escort to investigate. They want to determine if you are still human or if you have been transformed into something dangerous. Security Chief felt a surge of protective instincts that seemed to come from both his human training and his new connection to the planet. Commander, tell the Admiral to approach peacefully. The planet will defend us if it perceives a threat. Defend you how? Commander Yoon asked. Engineer Kim answered by showing her readings from the planet's energy systems. This world can generate electromagnetic pulses strong enough to disable entire fleets. It can alter atmospheric composition to make the air unbreathable for specific species. It has defenses that make it nearly indestructible, but it chooses not to use them against friends, Dr. Lim added. We have proven that cooperation is possible. Violence is not necessary. The communication ended with Commander Yoon promising to relay their message to the approaching Galactic Council ships. Captain Lee gathered his team around their planning table, which was now partially grown from crystal rather than built from metal. The galaxy is about to see something that has never existed before. A true partnership between human and alien intelligence. Dr. Park checked her latest medical scans. Our transformation is accelerating. In another few days, we will be capable of surviving in environments that would kill normal humans. We could explore worlds that no other species can reach. But will we still be human? Engineer Kim asked. Dr. Lim smiled as crystal flowers bloomed in response to her emotions. We will be better than human. We will be the bridge between Earth, life, and the rest of the universe. Outside their shelter, the planet pulsed with anticipation. Its human friends were about to face their first real test. Other aliens were coming, who might not understand the beauty of cooperation and symbiosis. The living world prepared its defenses, not to attack, but to protect the precious partnership it had waited eons. Captain Lee Hayan woke up to the sound of gentle humming. For a moment, he thought one of his crew members was singing. Then he realized the sound was coming from the crystal walls of their shelter. Everyone wake up, he called softly. Something has changed. Dr. Park Soo-jin sat up and immediately checked her instruments. The electromagnetic readings are completely different. Instead of aggressive spikes, we are getting steady, rhythmic pulses, like a calm heartbeat. Engineer Kim Tae-ho looked outside. Through their small window, the crystal formations around us have grown overnight, but they are not threatening us. They seem to be forming a protective circle around our shelter. Dr. Lim Soyoung gasped with excitement as she checked on her. Earth seeds. They sprouted.
Dad!
Look, tiny green shoots are growing in our soil patch. This should be impossible on an alien world. Security Chief on Dong-wook scanned the area with his sensors. No hostile activity detected. The planet seems to be resting, or maybe watching us. They carefully stepped outside their shelter. The air felt cleaner and easier to breathe. The crystal plains sparkled with rainbow colors instead of the angry red from yesterday. Small streams of clear water had appeared overnight, flowing in gentle patterns around their camp. The planet is taking care of us, Dr. Park whispered in. Amazement. Provided fresh water and protected our shelter while we slept. Captain Lee knelt down and touched the crystal surface. It felt warm under his hands, and the humming sound grew slightly louder. It knows we are not a threat. We proved that yesterday by not fighting back when it attacked us. Engineer Kim began studying the water streams with his equipment. This water is perfectly safe to drink. The mineral content is actually better than what we brought from Earth. The planet is not just tolerating us, it is helping us survive. Dr. Lim started expanding her garden area. She planted more earth seeds and mixed local crystal dust with soil from their ship. Plants from home are growing in alien soil. This has never happened before in galactic history. As the day progressed, they noticed more changes. The crystal formations began growing in response to their activities. When Engineer Kim worked on equipment repairs, crystals formed structures that helped reflect light onto his work area. When Dr. Park collected samples, crystal paths appeared to guide her to the most interesting specimens. The planet is learning our behavior patterns, Dr. Park explained. It watches what we do and tries to help us do it better. Security Chief On discovered something remarkable while exploring the area around their camp. Captain, there is a boundary about 50 meters from our shelter. Beyond that line, the planet still shows defensive behavior. But inside this circle, it treats us like welcome guests. Captain Lee tested this theory by walking toward the boundary. As he approached the invisible line, the ground began to vibrate and the air became thicker. When he stepped back toward camp, everything returned to normal. It has quarantined us, he realized. It's like a body isolating an infection to prevent it from spreading. But we are not being attacked. We are being contained. Dr. Lim made another breakthrough when she composted food waste from their supplies. The organic matter from Earth seemed to have a calming effect on the crystal network. Areas where she spread the compost showed more cooperative behavior. Human bacteria and microorganisms are interacting with the planet's crystal structure, she explained. Our waste contains millions of tiny Earth life forms. They are not fighting the crystal network. They are joining it. Engineer Kim figured out how to work with the planet's electromagnetic pulses instead of against them. By timing their equipment, usage with the natural rhythms, he could actually boost their power systems using the planet's own energy. We are not draining the planet's resources, he said with excitement. We are becoming part of its energy cycle. It gives us power when we need it, and our activities give it new data to process. Dr. Park discovered that the planet's curiosity was growing stronger each day. The crystal formations near their camp began forming new shapes and patterns, as if the world was experimenting with different designs based on human architecture. It is studying us just as much as we are studying it, she observed. Every tool we use, every structure we build, every plant we grow, teaches it something new about Earth life. Communications Officer Choi's voice suddenly crackled through there. Emergency radio. Landing team, this is the Resilience. You've been trying to reach you for 3 days. What is your status? Captain Lee grabbed the radio. Commander Yoon, we are alive and well. The planet has stopped attacking us. We seem to have reached some kind of understanding. Captain, that is impossible. No one has ever survived on that world for more than a few hours. We are not just surviving, Lee replied. We are thriving. The planet is actively helping us now. It provides water, protects our shelter, and powers our equipment. There was a long pause from orbit. Captain, the Galactic Council is demanding an immediate report. They want proof that you have not been compromised by alien influence. Dr. Park took the radio. Commander, tell the Council that we have made first contact with a planetary intelligence. It is not hostile. It was simply defending itself from what it saw as invasions. How do we know you are still thinking clearly? Commander Yoon asked with concern. Previous expeditions may have been influenced or controlled before they died. Security. Chief On answered this time, because we are still ourselves, still human, still making our own decisions. But now we understand something the other species missed. This planet does not want to be conquered or studied. It wants to be understood. As evening approached, the team gathered in their expanded shelter. The walls now included crystal formations that provided light and warmth. Plants from Earth grew alongside crystal flowers that had never existed before today. We are becoming. Something new, Dr. Lim observed. Not fully human, not fully alien, but a bridge between two different types of life. Captain Lee looked around at his team. They were changing, adapting, evolving. But they were still the same people who had left Earth years ago, searching for a new home. Tomorrow, we start building something permanent, he decided. Not a base or a research station. A home. The first human settlement on a living world. Outside, their shelter, the planet pulsed with warm, welcoming light. The death world that had killed 17 expeditions was learning to love the strange creatures who had refused to leave or die. The galaxy was about to witness something unprecedented. True cooperation between human and alien. The shuttle shook violently as it entered the planet's atmosphere. Captain Lee Hoon gripped the controls, while warning lights flashed red across the cockpit. Through the windows, he could see the surface rushing up to meet them. Landing zone. Confirmed, Engineer Kim Tae-ho called out from his seat. Large flat area with what looks like crystal formations. Dr. Park Soo-jin watched her instruments with growing concern. Captain, the atmospheric readings are changing. Oxygen levels were perfect 5 minutes ago. Now they are dropping fast. The shuttle touched down on a plain of smooth purple crystal that stretched to the horizon. Strange orange clouds moved across an alien sky. In the distance, tall spires of the same purple crystal rose like frozen lightning bolts. Everyone stay close together, Security Chief On Dongwook ordered as they prepared to exit. We do not know what killed the previous teams, but we need to be ready for anything. They stepped out of the shuttle wearing light environment suits. The air felt thick and heavy. Dr. Lim So-young immediately began taking soil samples while Dr. Park scanned the area with her scientific equipment. This is beautiful, Lim whispered as she looked around. The crystal plane sparkled in the orange sunlight, but something feels wrong. The ground is vibrating under our feet. Engineer Kim checked his readings. The vibrations are getting stronger, and the electromagnetic activity is off the charts. Something big is happening underground. Captain Lee tried to contact their ship in orbit. Static filled his communicator. Commander Yoon, do you copy? We have landed safely, but experiencing communication problems. Electronic noise answered. Dr. Park's scanner began beeping frantically. Captain, you need to see this. The soil samples are not just dirt and rock. There are microscopic crystal structures everywhere. They look almost like nerve cells. She showed them the display screen. Tiny crystal threads connected to form a vast network under their feet. The threads pulsed with soft light and regular patterns. The entire planet's surface is connected, Park explained, with excitement and fear. It is like standing on the brain of a giant creature. Security Chief On noticed movement in the distance. Captain, those crystal spires are growing taller. They were not that high when we landed 5 minutes ago. The ground vibration increased. The crystal plane began to change color from purple to deep red. The air became harder to breathe, even inside their environment suits. The planet knows we are here, Dr. Lim said quietly, and it is not happy about it. Engineer Kim's instruments detected massive energy buildups moving toward their location. We have maybe 20 minutes before whatever destroyed the other expeditions reaches us. Captain Lee looked at his small team. They were scared, but still working, still thinking, still trying to understand instead of just running away. What do we know about how the other species died? Dr. Park pulled up data files on her tablet. The Zephyrian expedition simply vanished. No distress calls, no wreckage found. The Vorthan crystal beings left behind empty ships with no sign of struggle. The Nexus robots were found completely shut down, as if something drained all their power at once. Different methods for different species, unobserved. Whatever defends this place adapts its attacks to match the enemy. The orange sky began to darken. Clouds formed directly above them with unnatural speed. Lightning crackled between the clouds, but it was purple instead of white. Acid rain incoming, Engineer Kim announced. The precipitation has a pH level that will eat through our equipment in minutes. Instead of retreating to the shuttle, Captain Lee made a decision that surprised everyone. We dig in. Start building shelter using whatever materials we can find. Here, Captain. We should leave now while we still can, Security Chief On urged. No, Lee said firmly. Every other species tried to fight this planet or run from it. We are going to do what humans do best. We are going to adapt and endure. Dr. Lim began collecting pieces of crystal that had broken off from the main formations. These crystal fragments are incredibly strong. You could use them as building materials. Engineer Kim studied the electromagnetic patterns. The energy pulses are not random. They follow specific timing. We can predict when the next wave will hit. Dr. Park made another discovery. The crystal network is not trying to kill us directly. It is changing our environment to make it hostile. It's like a fever fighting an infection. They work together too. Build a basic shelter using crystal fragments, equipment from the shuttle, metal panels they removed from their landing craft. The acid rain began falling just as they finished the roof. The liquid burned through everything it touched except the crystal materials, but their makeshift shelter held. Steam rose from the ground around them as the rain dissolved the surface. Layers of the crystal plane. The planet is testing us, Captain Lee realized. It wants to see how we respond to each threat. The acid rain stopped after 30 minutes. Immediately, the ground began to crack and split open. Toxic yellow gas poured out of the crevices. Hydrogen sulfide and chlorine gas, Dr. Park announced. Deadly to most oxygen-breathing species. But not necessarily to humans, Dr. Lim pointed out. Our ancestors survived volcanic eruptions that released similar gases. They sealed their shelter and activated small air scrubbers. The gas attack lasted for an hour. When it ended, the temperature began rising rapidly. Heat wave next, Engineer Kim predicted. The planet is going through its entire defensive protocol. By nightfall, they had survived acid rain, poisonous gas, extreme heat, and electromagnetic pulses that would have shut down any electronic life form. Their shelter was damaged, but still standing. Their equipment was mostly functional. They were tired and scared, but alive. We lasted longer than any previous expedition, Dr. Park said with amazement. Because we did not try to conquer or study the planet, Captain Lee explained. We treated it like a living thing that was frightened of us. We showed it that we could adapt instead of attacking back. Security Chief On was monitoring the crystal network with instruments they had modified during the attacks. The energy patterns are changing. Pulses are slower now, less aggressive. Almost like the planet is curious about us. Dr. Lim planted some earth seeds in a small patch of soil they had created inside their shelter. Tomorrow we will see if we can grow something here. Plants are often the first step toward making a place feel like home. As they settled in for their first night on the Death World, Captain Lee looked out through a small window in their shelter. The crystal formations glowed softly in the darkness. The planet had thrown everything it had at them, and they were still there? Day 1 complete, he said with a tired smile. Let us see what day 2 brings. Outside their shelter, the planet pulsed with slow, thoughtful rhythms. For the first time in its long existence, visitors had survived its defenses. Now it had to decide what to do about these strange and stubborn creatures who refused to die or leave. The real test. Captain Lee Hoon stood on the bridge of the U.S. Resilience, staring at the blue-green planet that filled the main view screen. From space, it looked perfect. White clouds swirled around green continents and blue oceans. The atmosphere readings showed oxygen levels that would make any human feel at home. The temperature was warm but not too hot. Rivers and lakes sparkled like jewels across the surface. Yet this beautiful world had a terrible secret. No living thing had ever survived on its surface for more than a few hours. Captain Dr. Park Sujin said as she walked onto the bridge. Her tablet was filled with data about their destination. I have finished reviewing all the previous expedition. Reports the pattern is always the same. Ships land, cruise, explore, and then complete silence. Lee turned to face his chief scientist. Dr. Park was small, but tough, with dark eyes that missed nothing. She had volunteered for this mission because she loved solving impossible puzzles. This planet, officially named Kepler-4 for to see, but known throughout. The galaxy, as Thanatosovin, was the biggest puzzle of all. "How many expeditions have we lost?" Lee asked. 17 different species have tried to explore this world, Park replied. The Zephyrian Empire sent 3 full research teams. All disappeared. The Vorthon Collective sent their best crystal form explorers who can survive in any environment, gone without a trace. Even the Nexus Union lost an entire mechanized army here. Chief Engineer Kim Tae-ho looked up from his control station. He was young, but brilliant with technology. "The energy readings from the planet's core are strange, Captain. It's much higher than they should be for a world this size. And they keep changing, in patterns I've never seen before." Communications Officer Choi Mina adjusted her headset and frowned. "Sir, I am picking up electromagnetic signals from the surface. They sound almost like a heartbeat. Very slow, very deep, but regular." Commander Yoon Ji-hai, the ship's military leader, crossed her arms. She was a practical woman who believed in caution over curiosity. "Captain, with respect, we should leave immediately. This world has killed every expedition that has tried. To land? Why should we be different?" Lee walked to the center of the bridge and looked at his crew. These were good people, each an expert in their field. The Resilience carried not just scientists, but also families and children. They were colonists looking for a new home among the stars. But this world called to him in ways he could not explain. Dr. Park stepped forward. "Commander Yoon is right to be careful. But humans are different from the other species that failed here. We evolved on Earth, a world that tried to kill us every single day. Ice ages froze our ancestors. Volcanoes buried. Entire civilizations. Diseases wiped out millions. Predators hunted us. Cosmic radiation bombarded us. Yet we survived it all." She pointed at the planet on the screen. The Zephyrians evolved on a peaceful garden world. The Vorthians grew up in controlled crystal caves. The Nexus beings were created in sterile laboratories. They never learned to adapt to true hostility, but humans did. "We are the children of a death world ourselves," Engineer Kim nodded enthusiastically. "Dr. Park is right. Human biology is designed for survival. Our immune systems fight off diseases. Other species cannot even imagine. Our bodies can adapt to different temperatures and atmospheres. Our minds can find solutions under extreme stress." Captain Lee thought about his own childhood on Earth. He had grown up in the ruins of Old Seoul, where his family struggled to survive after the Great Climate Wars. Every day had been a battle against hunger, cold, and dangerous storms. Yet those hard times had made him strong and clever. "What do you think is down there?" he asked Dr. Park. The scientist pulled up holographic displays showing the planet's structure. The data suggests the entire planet might be one massive organism. The energy readings, the electromagnetic patterns, the way it responds to approaching ships, it all points to a living world. It's not just a world with life on it, but a world that is alive. Security Chief Undong Wook joined the conversation. He was an older man with many scars from previous dangerous missions. If the planet is alive, then it has been defending itself. Every species that landed was seen as an invasion. The planet fought back and won. Dr. Lim So-young, the ship's botanist, had been quietly studying plant samples from Earth. She was gentle but determined.
Back!
The kind of person who could make flowers grow in the worst conditions. "Captain, what if we approach this differently? Instead of trying to conquer or study the planet, what if we simply try to live with it? Humans have always been good at making homes in impossible places." Communications Officer Choi suddenly straightened up. "Captain, I am receiving a transmission from the Galactic Council. They want to know our status." Lee activated the main communication system. The face of Admiral Veltar, a tall blue-skinned Zephyrian, appeared on the screen. His expression was stern and worried. "Captain Lee, the Council is concerned about your mission. Thanatosavin has claimed to many lives. We strongly advise you to abort and return to Earth space immediately. With respect, Admiral Lee replied, humanity did not come this far among the stars by running from challenges. We will proceed with caution, but we will proceed. Admiral Veltar's face darkened. Captain, you do not understand. This world kills everything that touches it. Your species may be adaptable, but this planet has defenses beyond anything you have encountered. Dr. Park stepped into view of the communication screen. Admiral, that is exactly why we might succeed where others failed. Humans do not just adapt to hostile environments. We make them our homes. Every place on Earth was trying to kill us once. We live everywhere from the frozen poles to burning deserts. The Admiral was quiet for a long moment. Very well. But you have one standard week to prove that settlement is possible. If you fail, the Council will declare Thanatosavin off limits permanently, and your ship will be required to leave immediately. After the transmission ended, Captain Lee gathered his senior officers around the planning table. The holographic display showed detailed maps of the planet's surface. We will select a small landing party, he decided. Myself, Dr. Park, Engineer Kim, Security Chief On, and Dr. Lim. 5 people with different skills. If the planet is truly alive, we need to approach it like we would approach any new form of life, with respect, curiosity, and patience. Commander Yoon looked worried. Captain, what if you do not return? What happens to the families and children aboard this ship? Lee smiled grimly. Then you take them to safety, Commander. But I believe we will return. Humans have a gift that other species seem to lack. When the universe pushes us, we push back. When it tries to kill us, we learn to survive. And when we find a place that wants to be alone, we figure out how to be good neighbors. As the shuttle prepared for launch, Engineer Kim made final checks on their equipment. Dr. Park packed scientific instruments. Security Chief unloaded protective gear. Dr. Lim carefully stored seeds and soil samples from Earth. Captain reviewed emergency procedures one more time. The planet below continued to pulse with its slow, deep heartbeat. Whatever intelligence lived in that world was about to meet humanity for the first time. The galaxy watched and waited to see if the children of Earth could succeed where 17 other species had failed. The shuttle bay doors opened. Small craft descended toward the beautiful, deadly world that had never allowed visitors to stay alive. But humans had never been good at following rules about where they were not welcome. They were about to make camp on a world that killed everything, and see if they could change that ancient pattern through the simple act of